Today is June 25th, 2023. Still a little bit going on. A lot more didn't show up. It's not funny. What? Any of this. And people finding cheap humor in a retired judge stalking people in their home. I don't get it. Other people in North Canton are smart enough to call the police and call other people because they don't think it's funny retired Judge Pete's breaking in people's home and stalking them. It's not funny at all. Let alone breaking in, drugging them, beating them, and raping them. And of course, somebody had to say something stupid about a shower scene in the other room, and it is a shower scene, and it is altered. They, March 2nd to the 3rd, 21, they told the neighbors by 8 o'clock at night, my car's bugged from that case, that they were going to put two clips together, put her in a porn. My one friend said he has a friend with a laptop. He could Photoshop that shower scene easy. You just click and move it to another room. Told you, this is how far they're altered. March 13, 21, they told the nurse at Mercy Medical the only thing that they had on you was adjusting yourself. The guy said, that's sick. She said, no, she just simply wiped off some water with clothes on. Now, is that weird with yourself and exposing weird? No. That's just brushing something off. The guy said, that's sick. She said, no, it's actually funny. They didn't have anything else. She had no wrong saying and no wrongdoing. That's how far they're altered. They were photoshopping everything in and out, and they've told several people that retired Judge Pete did all that. He's a serial rapist, and other people have called him that. Then I told you, Ed, December 9th, he's a maintenance man, December 9th, 21, that everything was drugged and photoshopped. It's just a bunch of men doing crimes down here, see if someone will stop him. Same day, Stark County Hunger Task Force, December 9th, 21. White man bald with dark eyes actually worked the case, was extra security. We always knew the tapes before were them and not her, so we never said a word. My client in Navarre, her neighbor with the White House bumped up next to her in the same with the driveways. They told her that retired Judge Pete drugged and photoshopped and made everything up. I mean, they all went to the police. Okay. And that's where May 25th, 21, 6 p.m., Wendy's in Louisville, of the church people breaking in before, drugging me, telling me to say weirdo stuff. Dave's one of his fat, ugly girlfriends in a blue car, a blonde girl with, in it. She came down on Fairlawn Street, the next street over, by that Saturday, Sunday, yelled at the goons from Ravenna real loud. Everybody heard. Are you crazy? You can't enter a drug confession? Well, we just found out they drugged her and told her what to say before. 8/9/21, the apartment building forming second close offense. A lady and little kids live there. They read it out Dave for drugging me and telling me to say stuff. He, officer showed up with a badge, talked about 4 or 5 neighbors that I was drugged and told to say at 1295 Fairlawn. Screamed at him, talked to several people in 21, November 2nd, 3rd. Save a lot. There was an African American lady saying that it was all them and not me, and they made everything up on me, and all the tapes before were them and not her. Nobody should say a word. Okay. Then we got Ed, we got the other ones. Then January 19, 22, Department of Disability, they told them I was drugged and told to say it before. February 2nd, Burlington Coat Factory in front of my other client. Some guy personally admitted to drugging me first and telling me to say it. People ran in to Save a Lot. Other houses on 6th Street. He's like, Karen, this is crazy. And I'm like, who's crazy? And I'm trying to ignore the whole thing of people screaming. He said, these people, they meant to drugging you and telling you to say it before they meant to raping you in front of people in stores. I don't like, stay out of it. I'll tell the police. Okay. And then where they got Eric High, November 18, 22, Walmart 62, 2 to 6 p.m. That all the tapes before were him and not me, and it was done for a stunt for everyone to turn on me, and they fell for it. Ha 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 ha. Well, I confronted my kids, and nobody knew about what Dave was doing with retired Judge Pete, that he had hired Judge Pete to break in, drug me, stalk me, Photoshop scenes for him to get away with it for Katie. Um, uh, let's see. Even March 24th, 22, they admitted to framing me before. You framed her before. 3 apartment buildings for me. There's a tall white guy with brown hair. He was getting screamed at by a little white guy for framing me. And everybody heard him. And the guy told him off. And he said, I know, I feel bad. March 24th, 22, 1:30. Those people even raped her. There are so many people. All the police know I'm drugged and framed in some stalking tapes. They were looking for actually did it either March 15 or 16 of 23 or April 15, 16 or 23. Dave finally confesses to Danny. He didn't know why that guy confessed. Well, they got him high and told him to. They're amnesia drugs. And he said he had hired some guy named Pete on his own. It was only Pete up there doing all those things to me. And Pete has her framed. And let's see what else. And that he had talked to that agent up at that church. And he was asking threats on her life. And he even spoke to him personally. Where I tried to tell that agent on the phone that somebody had told on me to that church the night before. He called me a liar. Officers in uniform have verified I was told on before I called him back. I had a 25 grand hit. See, these people don't tell you that they have Terry's phone call of the church has taken up $25,000 to have me murdered. Hired 2 men. And it was Keith Bishop, Strange and Ron, because Ron wants me dead because I got well the year his kid died. They have Dave hiring 2 murderers. He was bragging that he hired a man to slit my throat, stab me in the heart, or shoot me if I ran. I almost got shot in the first 30 to 45 days of the case. He wasn't lying. Let's see. They have that Dave thought one of his girlfriend's family owned the police up there, and him and Jack had this plan since March. They don't bother to tell you that. They just want to tell you where I was waking up with bruises, throwing up, running to the bathroom. Then I got a severe personal infection, and I'm seen by a family physician. They gave me iron. They couldn't figure out why I was bruising too easy, maybe becoming anemic. They didn't know why I was getting such a bad personal infection. Here I'm being drugged, beaten, raped, and violated in my own home, and they weren't putting it together. And when I told them what was going on, they looked at me and said, your ex-husband is a vile, sick animal. So are these people doing this to me. Vile, sick animals. And when you put it down to that, they're vile, sick animals. It's illegal to be in somebody's home. It's the 4th Amendment. People act like they have no IQ around here, with no education, that they don't even know the Constitution, that you have a right to privacy in your own home. It cannot be violated. The only person people can be in your home is police and agencies under a threat of life with statements. They can't even look or listen. I've talked to Officer Reinhardt in Louisville, Portage County Sheriffs. I've heard the Massillon Police say stuff, Hartville Police. Nobody had a right in my home before. And they can't look or listen. So, we're June 7th, 2023, Lighthouse Tabernacle. Katie's sister is in there, too, mocking FBI agent John, about 11 o'clock, June 7th, 2023. They tape it on through the whole place. FBI agent John fell for the tapes before. What on earth? That was only a stunt. A very cruel stunt. What do you mean that agent fell for the tapes before? It was just a stunt. Oh, come on now. John, you fell for the stunt of the tapes before. You're kidding. He actually did? Is that what's going on? Is that why they got away with it? He fell for that stunt. Because they were getting even with me. Because Dave and Katie were cheating, and she's a millionaire. A 300-pound millionaire. And she just wants to hurt me because I was Dave's wife. She just wanted to hurt me because I was Dave's wife. And so he has her they come up with this thing that he's going to talk about it while we walk into Macy's, and he's going to insult her, and if I dare laugh, they're going to get her. They had to be hiding in the purses or around the corner. You do realize that, are they? And having me stalked her, they wouldn't know. He said it in Macy's or in the entrance. It was a setup for everyone to turn on me. And since when, at 50 years old, do we get people for somebody calling somebody fat and ugly in another store and not even to their face or where they could hear it? Huh? That's weird. That's how satanic that occult is. Oh, I've been blasting them on Facebook, calling them reprobates. Satanic occult. Because who the hell has somebody drugged, beat, raped, and photoshopped in scenes and then sets off a hate crime? A satanic occult. And they already admitted it. You know, I was talking where they were saying uh, that John, FBI agent John, is the one. It was verified November 6, 22. They found out, officers up there verified that agent told on me before I called him back. He was the one at that church where I tried to tell him. And they verified it was him telling on me at Apostolic Church of Barberton. And I tried to tell him on a recorded line that someone told on me. He called me a liar. He didn't want the name of the church because it was him. I had a 25 grand hit. They called him a paid off dirty agent in the mall. You know, and other people were talking the other day that he was telling people if she's going to insult other women and fake she was sick and fake she got well while they're I was never faking. I had surgeries, went into fibromyalgia, medication error. I had to get a different doctor, different medication, get out moving, and it took 9 months to get well. And a spontaneous remission that 80% goes into took me 9 months of working out. Nothing had to do with anything. His father-in-law ran a stop sign. He didn't stop at a stop sign, and a semi hit him and his son. His father-in-law and his son. I had nothing to do with that. And 2 months later, after working out with a doctor for 9 months, mine goes into remission. And it was a medication error, making me swell up so bad. I could have died. Everything was shutting down. They were slowly poisoning me. See, where they say medication can actually do this, it actually can. So, yeah, that agent was up there. And I'm telling you, he sounds like a crazy occult person. And insult their women, they can do whatever they want. And then they saying that he said he knew I was being drugged, beaten, raped, and he didn't care. And I got to thinking about it. When I walked out from Dave, some women were talking about that. They were, because I've lived through so much, and some women were saying that. I thought, who are you talking about? Because they're using amnesia drugs on me. All I knew is I was bruised, throwing up, migraine headache, dizzy, heart racing, and a severe personal infection, being violated on every level in my home. And those amnesia drugs are sleepwalking for 4 to 6 hours. Somebody roofied my co-worker Dar. They took her from a bar and she left willingly. She ended up being raped and left in a puddle of pee. They roofied Mike in a bar and he drove around all night and he didn't know he went to the bank, went out, he came home, changed his shoes, and was freaking out because when it wore off, he didn't know how he got home. You're sleepwalking for 4 to 6 hours. I've talked to sheriffs about those amnesia drugs. They said they could have drugged up the people that took down the towers and told them to do it, and they didn't even know they killed everyone. They're that bad. They control you for 4 to 6 hours. You're a human zombie chemically. I'm going to upload this. None of this is funny. And someone needs to arrest FBI agent John. People have died. Marlisa, my house manager, her niece was taken. My other co-worker, her family member got killed. The drug traders, they got the amnesia drugs, or human trafficking people out of here. And my other co-worker, they took her family member and laughed how they killed her, tied her up and cut her into pieces. Had people publicly show up and mock her. There was a girl at an ATM, and a bunch of other people have disappeared. Ohio now is 4th in the nation of human trafficking. John let them get set up in 18 here. He needs to go to jail for every crime that ever happened as an accessory of aiding and abetting. And he did it on purpose.